first with your finance update and give us some good news.
All right. I'll give you a two-part.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Good. I almost said good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. All right. So to kick off today, one of our inflation metrics that's used is CPI. That's your Consumer Price Index. That report was released, and it came in higher than expected. Excuse me, with the cost of living in general, of course, has gone back up. Inflation as of today is the same as it was in May of 2023. With that said, we saw another spike in interest rates today, and we've kind of moved back to, again, that similar market of 2023 where we saw higher interest rates and things kind of slow down a bit. So with that, the positive that I have in that, we are offering a free. And when I say free, it's legitimately free to a borrower, a 1.0 temporary rate buy down on all new transactions, free to the borrower. So there's no additional fee cost. There's no inflation in interest rate to them. But for this time, there's no set end date for this. This was just announced in our morning meeting this morning that we will cover a temporary rate buy down for any new buyer transaction to give them that 1 year of relief on interest rates, and hopefully in that next 13 months we're able to refinance, and so where they're not paying that higher the higher rate. So
Is it 1 point for the first year?
yeah, just a 1 year, not a 2 year, just a 1 year temp buy down. So if
Okay.
the rate's 6.5, they'd get 5.5 for the first year.
Cool.
This is not on any type of assistance loans. This is for your standard VA conventional FHA financing, and we'll cover the cost for 1 year. So any new buyers, like I said, we're going under contract. We will offer that to them. And then I also connected with Monica last week and sent her some DSCR non-QM information, and we had chatted. So I think she's going to try and see about getting something together. But I've been doing these presentations over the last couple of months on non-QM products in a few office meetings that I've been in. So I'd love to set it up and do it with the office as well, because this is just another pillar of business that you can seek out there for borrowers that don't qualify for traditional financing, whether they're self-employed, they're investors, they've got some derogatory stuff on the credit, they've had a bankruptcy. This is more of the outside the box thinking type program. Does require a little bit more down payment, 10% down. But I can go deeper into different products and things that are available. So I know Monica and I are connecting to try and get something set up for the office to do the training. And we can record it as well and share it with whoever is unable to make it. So that's what I got for you today. So free 1.0 buy down. Free meaning it's free to the customer. It doesn't cost them anything extra. So as always, if you need me for anything this week, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Hey Scott, do you guys have marketing for that?
It's in the works.
Okay.
I have a question for you. Today I did hear something, and so if you could maybe speak to the validity of it, if it's in the talks of soon, we might be seeing rate cuts drastically and inflation rise. Have you heard any of that chatter?
Are you talking about like with the new Fed chair and the
Yeah.
hyperinflation?
Yes.
I've seen a couple things on it. Will that happen? I have no idea.
Right.
My personal opinion is if we do see hyperinflation, people are already strapped for the cost of living right now, and hyperinflation to have these low rates so people can get a lower mortgage. For me, it's robbing Peter to pay Paul. What about the people
Absolutely.
that can't afford or don't qualify for a mortgage, yet prices are skyrocketing? I just had this conversation with someone yesterday. I'm like, so yeah, we're gonna say, okay, yeah, I can afford and get this low mortgage rate, but I'm gonna go get a dozen eggs and it's gonna cost me $29.95. So
Yeah,
I
that's exactly what I was thinking. So I was wondering if you had any inside scoop on that.
yeah, just my own personal opinion. Do I want to see it? I would have to say no. I think for my outlook, I mean, if we can get these rates into the low fives, that's, I mean, I know right now it's perspective. A 6.5% rate historically is still one of the lowest rates we've seen out there.
Yeah.
So people just got spoiled with these 2.5% and 3% rates. I'd rather see rates in that five, maybe high 4% for a flourishing market as opposed to getting a 2.5% rate, but the cost of living is astronomical. I personally wouldn't want to
Yeah, agreed. Okay, thank you. So no facts coming your way. It's still just chatter.
just chatter.
Yeah.
As of today, the Fed reports and things that are coming out, it's more likely now that we'll see rate hikes than rate cuts, and that is with the new Fed chairman. And remember, the Fed chairman doesn't make all the decisions. There's 11 of them that vote on what's going to happen. So the new Fed chair, he's just the spokesman. He doesn't make the decision. They vote between the other Fed members.
Sure. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Yeah,
you're
thank
very
you,
welcome.
I
Scott.
have a quick question regarding the temporary buy down you mentioned.
Mhm.
So let's say a typical $500,000 property. If a borrower was to get this free buy down, what would it normally cost? Would it be 1% of the loan?
So it's 1% lower in rate. So you would take whatever the locked rate is that you agree upon, then that 1% difference, whatever the difference in that monthly payment would be, and then calculate it over a 12-month period. So again, depending on loan amount, you're talking somewhere between like a $5,000 and a $8,000 credit to them.
Okay, I was trying to gauge like what are they saving by getting it for free right now? So I could pitch it that way. Like it's free right now. Normally it would be $5,000 or $8,000 or something like that, right?
So they would get the benefit of that lower monthly payment. So let's just say that 1% lower is about, $400 or $500 per month.
Okay,
They would have that savings monthly because the difference in that. So let's just say the payment is $5,000 a month, and they're saving $500 a month with that down payment, or
yeah,
not down
with the
payment,
buy down. Yeah.
rate buy down. So they make a $4,500 payment in that subsidy account with the credit we're going to give. It will cover that $500 difference. So the $5,000 a month payment still being made. They're saving that $500 per month. And what I do when we do these temporary rate buy downs and educate them is I let them know if you have an account that you know you won't touch or open a savings account that you won't touch, take that $500, put it in that account. That way, each month you're getting acclimated to making that higher payment. In the event that rate doesn't come down, we're not able to refinance and save on that payment because we can't guarantee anything's going to happen. And it's a two-part. One, if we get to that adjustment period to where it goes back to the rate and they haven't been able to refinance, they've now become accustomed, like they know what it feels like to make that payment. So it's not a shock to them because they've been putting away that money. And then two, whether they refinance or don't refinance, now $6,000 savings account that they can use towards trades on the house or vacation, whatever they want to do. They've built this a little nest egg of savings.
Yeah, no, I love the savings that they get by doing a rate buy down. I guess what I was asking is normally if they were to get a 1.0 buy down and it wasn't free, what would it cost them?
Oh, it would, like I said, it would cost somewhere between like 5 to 7,000, depending on the loan amount.
Okay.
But here's the thing. The borrower can't decide if they're getting a temporary rate buy down. They have to get a seller credit to get it. It's not something they can choose to do. So the benefit to them is someone is covering it for them. And that would
Oh,
be us. So you can get a seller or lender. A borrower can't
wait, are
decide,
you
hey, I'd
saying
like to do this temporary rate buy
a
down.
buyer can't cover their own cost for a buy down? It
They
has to be
cannot.
paid for by either the lender or the other party?
Uh, the lender, the seller, or their agent.
Oh, okay, I
Yep.
did not
A
know that.
buyer, a buyer cannot pay their own temporary
Interesting.
rate buy down. They can do
But
go ahead.
go ahead, Scott. I was gonna say they could do a permanent buy down though, right?
Yes.
Like a
Yeah,
permanent,
permanent.
5
Permanent
points.
rate buy down they can, but on a temporary, the borrower is excluded from being allowed to pay for it.
Okay, okay, that makes sense, because I think I did a permanent one when I got my loan, and I was like, hey, I paid for it.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah. No,
hell?
on a temporary one cannot.
Okay, got it. Gotcha. All right.
Cool.
Noted. Thank you very much. Appreciate
All
it.
right. You're welcome. All right. Well, thank you all for having me on. I appreciate it as always.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, well, now we will turn it over to Monica, who's got
Okay.
some great information. Thank you, Monica.
Of course. Well, this all kind of came out from a broker meeting I went to with Bobby yesterday here in Orange County. She finally came to Orange County.
Yay!
It was wonderful. I recommend it to everyone.
Come to Orange County. I recommend it as well. And they were talking specifically about AI and using AI in our businesses. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, because we're all using it, right? We're all using it more and more in our work, probably in our lives in general, not just in work, but definitely in work. And honestly, it kind of makes sense, because whether you're using, Chat GPT, or Claude is the new one specifically for real estate, or really any of the AI models, it's really kind of become a staple. I have my AI open on my computer all the time. I never close it, ever. It's an app on my phone. I go to it multiple times a day, every day, and I do it for a lot of different reasons. In business, it can help us to move and research faster. It can help us brainstorm better. You can draft content with it really well, or summarize information. It's great at that as well. Writing emails, sometimes it just puts all your thoughts together in a cohesive way, which is fantastic. It can save a lot of time on tasks that used to take forever. And that is great, because we become a little bit more effective. We become a little faster in doing some things. So the point isn't that AI is bad or it's frowned upon in any way. It can be very, very useful, but we do need to be very careful about using it responsibly, especially for business. The big thing to remember about AI is that at the end of the day, it's still just a tool. It's an assistant, right? It's something that you use to help you. AI is not a licensed agent. It is not an expert on anything. It's definitely not supposed to replace your judgment and your knowledge and expertise. We are still professionals, and we're still responsible for anything that we put out there in our name. It doesn't matter what tools we use to create it, right? So think of it this way. If AI helps you to create something, a human needs to review it before it goes out, before it is used, before you do something with that. It means that you, as the agent, and even support staff, anybody that you use to help you out with, you both need to be checking the results of what AI gives you before it goes out the door, and checking it carefully. One of the reasons why this is really important is because AI is is a tool that is going to go out and compile information and research things and gather and do all this for you. But it also is trying ultimately to give you what you want, right? And in doing that, it will make stuff up and it can get things wrong. Because at the end of the day, it is just a program, right? It can hallucinate facts, come up with things, exaggerate details, and just straight up manufacture information that does not exist. And it will also present this stuff to you with a lot of confidence. The way it writes things up, it's super confident, even when it's wrong. And sometimes it's hard to tell that it's giving you something that's inaccurate or made up. And so it's really, really important that we double check what comes out of our AI when we use it. So if it's giving you a number about something, details about a property, even sources where it got the information, or a claim that it's making, like this is the fact about something, we need to be double checking these things. And we need to do it carefully because a lot of times it's hard to tell, like I said. Here's some of the bigger risks, and I think Bobby, you'll remember when they were talking about this yesterday. There were kind of some big sections where you might be putting yourself and your license at risk, and these are maybe the top 5 biggest exposure areas. The big one is misrepresentation. AI can generate a listing description, for example, with made up information. And if you don't read it carefully, you won't notice that it inserted something that isn't accurate about the property in there. It can overstate claims about a property that just aren't true. Or about the neighborhood. And sometimes if we read it at first glance, it looks correct. But again, this is why we say careful evaluation of what comes out of the AI when you put them in there. If you put that out there and it's incorrect and it misrepresents your listing or your property or even an advertisement and it gets published, it's on you. It's on nobody else but you, because it doesn't matter what tools you use to create it. You're the one who's putting it out there with your name. And if somebody says, oh, this is incorrect, or I'm coming at you for this, they're coming after you, not your AI, right? Another big area is fair housing risk. AI can pick up biases based on previous conversations you've had, based on content that it sees out there on the internet, because it's gathering information, just like you did back in the day when you were doing Google searches. It's just doing it a hell of a lot faster, right? It might suggest ideal buyer type of language, which could violate fair housing laws. Or it could create neighborhood descriptions that are deemed to be discriminatory. So you have to, again, read what it provides you and what it gives you carefully, and keep that in mind. Is this appropriate? Would I say this? Should I say this? We can't outsource that obligation to a program or to an algorithm. Even if you ask it, make sure you don't violate any fair housing rules, you're still going to want to carefully check it and make sure that it did that properly. Because again, it's like anybody else. It's a tool and it's an assistant. You need to make sure that they're doing the appropriate work. Another place where it could be an issue is unauthorized practice, I guess we can call it. We don't want to be we don't want to go outside of our scope, right, as real estate agents, be giving legal advice when we're not qualified to give legal advice. Sometimes we use ChatGPT to analyze, let's say, a contract or a disclosure to figure out the best way to respond to something. And you can tell it, make sure you follow California law here, But when it gives you some guidance on the best way to deal with that, just know it doesn't matter all the things that it can pull from online, and it doesn't matter all the information it can gather. It is not an attorney. And it is not a real estate attorney for the state of California, right? It's just a tool. So don't take it as law, whatever it gives you, right? Make sure you're double checking that information. And if you're not sure, if you look at it and you go, well, I can't really tell if this is accurate or not, that's when you get with another person and you have more people look at it. So another one is privacy and confidentiality. That's something we really need to be very concerned about, because some AIs only get information from you. Some AIs keep that and then share it back out too. And if you don't know which ones do it and which ones don't, and I don't, I mean, I could probably look into it, but I don't. To always be on the safe side, protect sensitive client data in any tool that you use, any public tool that you use, especially one that is AI based. So put it this way, if you wouldn't want the company that made the tool to have that client's financial details or contract information, don't upload it in there. If you're trying to determine, is this section of the contract proper, you can always crop that out and say, I want you to analyze just this right here, right? And let me know if this is appropriate or how I should respond or something like that. You don't want to ever load entire bank statements or contracts on there. Ideally, you don't even use the name of your clients at all when you're asking a question that's client related. So that one's important. Protect that data.
I have a question, Monica. I don't know if they spoke on this, but I accidentally put an address in, and I wanted to, and I was like, when I saw it come back to me, I realized, oh no, they have the address, and I asked it to forget it. If you ask them to forget it, did they talk about that? Would they forget
No,
it?
they did not. They did not. And again, it's probably going to lie to you.
Right.
Yeah, I forgot it. It's gone.
I told me I forgot it. I said, stop this conversation and forget it. And said it did. Yeah. So I was just wondering if they.
That's hilarious.
And I don't think necessarily something like looking up an address, looking up a property
Sure.
is necessarily a negative thing, because
Yeah.
it's gathering information that is online about the property. It's just doing it very, very quickly. The thing is that it's compiling all that data in the best way that it thinks it should. And
Sure.
those are the things that we want to double check. Don't just automatically assume it did the work, it's good. That's my point.
Sure.
Yeah. And the last section that is crucial is identity theft and impersonation. We actually heard about quite a few stories, and I know we've gotten emails from the DRE about this as well. I've noticed a lot of scams over the years, even before AI became a thing, honestly, even before then, but even more so since then, right? All the time I get little emails and texts from sellers of land and property, and buyers who, somehow only want to chat, only want to talk through WhatsApp because they can't hear well. There's a lot of that. And now what we're seeing is that through the use of our information that's out there publicly, because we put ourselves out there very publicly, like, hey, I'm an agent, I'm here, here's my information, here's all my stuff. They're using that to impersonate us and act as agents with unknowing buyers and sellers out there to commit whatever fraud they can. And they're using actual real information that's ours. So I think it's important to protect what you can of yours and constantly be looking out there, doing searches too, maybe using your AI, maybe just using Google, but always look yourself up over and over and over again. I know it seems like, oh, we only do these things every once in a while when we're updating our profiles online or something like that. But it would not be a terrible idea to be doing that at the very least once a month, ideally once a week. Look yourself up online, see what you find, see what pops up.
Scary up there.
Keep in mind, at the end of the day, we still just have to follow all the existing rules, right? There's MLS rules, there's DRE rules, there's fair housing laws, and there's advertising standards that we're required to meet. If AI writes something that would be inaccurate, misleading, or just non-compliant with any of those rules, it's on you as the human to notice that and fix it. It's still non-compliant, whether it's you or AI who wrote it, right? If you're putting it out there, it's going to come back at you. So to protect yourself in the best way, make sure that you're being careful about reviewing this information. And Bobby and I talked about policies that she wants to have in place. That I'm not sure if you wrote something up or not, or if it's coming later, but these are just at the very least policies that you should be implementing in your own real estate business, right? Because you are your own business, you're an independent contractor, nobody's telling you how to do your job. But we're trying to make sure that you have the tools and the tips that are going to make it the most effective, right? Or the most successful and put you at the least amount of risk. So the biggest one that you should keep as a policy in the back of your head for how you do business using AI.
I can throw a restaurant on there. Which one? Good one. I forgot what it's called. It's like
Arthur's.
Oh, I think, okay, Phil, he
he was
accidentally
ordering.
pushed non-mute. Gotcha. I was like, what are we talking about then? The first policy to keep is that you need human oversight over anything you're doing with AI. So think of AI as your unlicensed assistant, right? It can help you, but at the end of the day, you as the human are still the responsible party. So anything it generates has to be reviewed by you, the licensed agent, and ideally any support, team members or anything like that you use before it's sent out, posted, used in any way. No exceptions. At the end of the day, all of it has to be reviewed. And if you're never sure, that's where you call your team lead. That's where you ask another agent. That's where you call Bob. If all those people are still like wondering, I don't know about this, that's where we call legal. Right? We have a department for that too. The second policy is to verify, because at the end of the day, we can't trust AI at face value with what it gives you. If it gives you facts, data, property details, sources, double check all of them. And if it doesn't give you a source, because it doesn't always, if it doesn't give you a source for data that it brings back or concepts or summaries that it provides, then you need to ask it to give you sources. And just because it gave you a source doesn't mean that source isn't bullshit. So check that too. I swear it will make things up. And as I was giving Bobby an example the other day, I did something as simple as creating a little 1-page analysis report for an investment property, last week. And I was just trying to put some numbers on there of, hey, if you hold this property for, 3 years versus 5 years, here's what you make, blah, blah, blah. And those are the numbers, right? It's math, right? We already had the data. It was just calculating things, right? It did the math wrong for some reason. It just cranked out the math wrong. And I'm like, hey, how did you get to this calculation? And it took several back and forths with the AI for it to go, oh yeah, I didn't do that right. Here's the actual number.
Interesting.
It just inflated the number because it thought I wanted it to. Right? So this is what I mean by you can't trust it. Verify what you're getting, right? Obviously, the other policy will be protecting your client data. Do not upload sensitive information into a public or unapproved AI tool. That includes personal data for you or your clients, financial details, contracts, all of that. I'd say it's also good practice if you're asking it questions about a client situation. Use an alias. Say, my client. Just use my client. Or say, my client Tom. Doesn't matter who that is, right? Don't use their real name. Make sure that that information stays private and protected. A fourth policy would be compliance. Like I mentioned before, we still have to follow existing rules. So if AI is creating something that's inaccurate and you're putting it out there, that's the risk you take to your license and to your business. And California Curb Appeal takes that risk too. That's why we have E&O insurance. But you don't want to end up in a situation where you have to deal with that, right? So especially one of the things that I think was the most important that I stuck with me in that meeting from yesterday, and I'm sure Bobby, you'll agree about this. The speaker was saying one of the biggest protections you can offer yourself, generally speaking, is in the advertising and marketing that you put out there. Because that's like the first thing that people see. And if that is accurate, if that is appropriate, if that is following the rules and not being uncompliant with all of the current regulations, they don't look further. Right? They stop there and they go, oh, they're doing a good job. But if it's messed up there, then they start, hey, wait a second, and then they dig more. So that can be your big buffer. Make sure that that is always accurate. For example, and I'll give you an example. Virtual staging, it's become big. I like to do it. I think empty rooms look horrible. People have zero imagination and they can't figure out what they can do with it. Right? So virtual staging always draws more eyeballs in and makes a space look bigger, warmer. It can really enhance an image. Sometimes we just need to use AI or whatever tool you're using to clean up your photos. Sometimes it's just a matter of enhancing a photo, maybe bringing in more light because it was kind of dark that day. There wasn't a lot of sun. Or digitally altering something because, all her trash was in one corner or something and you want to remove it. It's like normally it wouldn't be there. So you want to take it out of the photo, stuff like that, right? All of this requires very clear disclosure, especially as far as the MLS goes, but DRE has rules on this as well, because you don't want to visually misrepresent what exists there. You have to clearly state anytime you have digitally altered an image, and you have to show the original image as well. So let's say it's a house that has kind of a dead lawn and you add in the fake lawn or the nice green lawn. That's fine. Just add digitally altered lawn and then show the original image as well. Because when people show up and they think they're getting a place with a pretty lawn and they get there and then it's not, that is absolutely a misleading representation of what's there, right? So the same applies with things like, I know it seems weird, like virtual staging would apply, because if it wasn't virtually staged, if a seller's furniture was in the home, you would show the picture with the furniture and you wouldn't be expected to show it without the furniture as well, right?
That makes sense.
But the reason I think it's super important when they say digitally altered that they want you to tell them that it is because of the expectation of what they will see when they get there, what they will see when they go to look at the property. If they see furniture, they automatically assume this is the seller's furniture and it's going to be gone, but it's there right now. And this is real furniture. It's not virtual furniture, which could be sized weird to make it look like it fits, even though it doesn't. Virtual furniture can be any size you want, not a regular bed size, but slightly smaller to make it look like a bed will fit in there, but it actually won't. That's why we mention it. So even things like that, really, really important that you follow the rules. And if you're ever not sure what they are, look it up. This is part of the job, guys. Learning the rules of your trade, this is part of the job. You know, sometimes I know it seems really easy to just say, I'm going to ask someone, but you need to know. And once you know, then you know forever. You don't have to look it up again. This is how we, grow and become better agents. So look things up when you're not sure. Also, I would say, especially when it comes to any output that affects compliance, advertising, contracts for sure, disclosures, fair housing, and anything that is client facing and has potential legal or risk to your reputation in any way. Anytime you're reviewing those kinds of materials and you used AI to put them together, I wouldn't rely just on your review. I would say always double check that as well. Have another set of eyeballs from a person, whether it's your team lead or another agent or your broker. Have somebody else look at it and make sure that it's good to go before you're putting it out there. It can only take a few minutes. It's not a big deal. But once it's out there, it's out there. Once you've sent the email, once you've done the thing, you can't take it back. So check before you do. It's kind of like, when you're building a house, you really, really want to double check that measurement before you cut the wood, because I've wasted a lot of wood. I'm just saying. The bottom line is AI is a great tool and we should absolutely use it. No doubt. It's going to get even better. Every month they're coming out with new tools, new things. It's going to get huge. So yes, use it. We just have to use it like professionals. Be careful. Do it with oversight, with caution, and with compliance in mind. I do want to ask really quick. I know we don't have everybody on the phone or on the call, but how many of you actually regularly use AI for your business right now?
Me.
Is it everybody in the office there?
Yeah, everybody in the office. Ashley, do you, Phil, Scott?
AI scares me. I literally just had a customer. She literally set up the AI department for her company. She works for a large company. Got it all set, dialed in, like that was like her career, like what she did, put this together. When it was all set up, fully operational, they fired her. She lost her job.
Wow. Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah, and we had to cancel escrow last week. I was so bummed for her.
Wow, that is
Yeah, so
terrible.
I know AI is important, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
ah!
I use it when I have to, but if I can avoid it, I avoid it because there's a lot of reasons why I don't back it. So, and it's scary. I don't want to normalize it, but it's crazy. I see the convenience and the pros, but there's a lot of cons, and the cons to me are not worth. We need.
I'll use it. Yeah, I use it minimally as well. It's
Yeah.
great for like if I'm trying to decipher like on a guideline that I don't know specifically, I could hop in and use AI to get information on it.
Okay. I was really curious because I know there's some people that are a little bit more on the line about whether or not they want to be using it for business or for personal reasons, right? And then there's others that are just gung ho, give me more, give me more, give me more. And I'm curious for you guys that are using AI or that want to use it at least responsibly for when you need it. Do you want to know more about how to use it to grow your business? Do you want more information on that?
Absolutely.
I think so. Yeah, there's a few trainings that are coming up that I definitely want to be a part of. We're having an in-office training, a virtual one. I can't remember the exact date, but I'll send it out.
Okay.
Everybody's invited to that, but I definitely would.
Okay. Gotcha. What about free or low cost tools within the AI realm that really at the end of the day they're apps, right? That can do various things for you. Would you like to get more info on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Okay. I was just kind of trying to get a gauge for if we need to get more stuff together on this topic
Mhm.
because it's a big one for a lot of
Mhm.
agents. And I know it feels like, well, like kind of like Scott, like you said, you're like, it's kind of freaky and I don't know much about it and I kind of stay away from it. And I think whether or not you choose to use it, at least having knowledge of what's there and what's available and what it can do helps you make those decisions a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I mean, the way our business is evolving, I will have to dive deeper into it and use more of it. I'm just one of those stubborn people that I'm like, my business is ran by me and I'm doing this. But I know there are parts of it that, I can utilize to help delegate.
Oh,
But my wife is the complete opposite of me. She uses AI for like everything. She loves it.
Well, I tell it what's in my pantry and it gives me recipes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great use.
There are just a few that probably we've even used already that like for example Canva. It's
Mhm.
it has AI built into it now. So when you do searches for specific types of layouts, it finds it easier, or it can generate a new layout on whatever flyer or social post or whatever you're trying to do.
Mhm.
Um, that you can use with the free account or with the paid account. There's ChatGPT, obviously the open source AI that has free plans available, and then paid plans I think start at like $20, and it can do basic things. I think for any of the free versions of AI, whatever platform you're on, know that the free version is going to be real basic. It's going to give you very generic stuff, and it's
Yeah.
not going to incorporate your voice and your style as much. Maybe the more you use it eventually. Um, and especially if you just use it sporadically, it comes back with very generic things. So
Mhm.
that's why I say be mindful of what it's giving you. Claude is a big one in the real estate realm right now. It can do a lot, maybe a little too much. This is the one where I'm kind of with you on, Ashley. I think people are diving a little too much into using it for everything, Claude especially, down to writing and responding to emails without you even seeing it. This is where I don't like that because I
Mhm.
think allowing something to help you put together a thought is fine. Especially like let's say you have a really busy week coming up and you have a lot of things you want to do, right? And you're trying to figure out what is the best way to manage this in my head. How am I going to put it on my schedule? What's the best thing to do first and next and whatever, it's literally just a list of to-do items. And I have this all the time. And then on Sunday, I'm always sitting down with my AI and saying, okay, here's all the things I want to do first thing Monday that are important. And here's the other important things later in the week. And here's all the other crap that I actually want to do too. Like, no way I'm getting to half of that, but let's incorporate and do our best. You know what I mean? And then it spits back some kind of a schedule that makes sense, that I can be like, oh, okay, I can wrap my head around this. All right, I'll try it in this order, because at least this way I'm not just jumping around like a crazy person from thing to thing. And so it can help in those kinds of ways too, that I think are great. We just need to be really careful when it starts to um, practically think for us too much, or come up with ideas that are not your own from information that's online. Because at the end of the day, that now it's not you anymore. Now it's just speaking for other people and putting it in your voice. So you need to make sure that that is what you agree with. Um,
Right.
Claude can do a lot. It does have a free version. It has paid plans available as well. I'd say with that one, just read up on it and see what it can do and see if you need any of those tools. If not, you can probably do it with what you already got. Grammarly is also a really nice one that's been around for forever, where it can help polish your emails and remarks and make sure that they're grammatically correct, that you're not misspelling things. So when you send stuff out, you don't accidentally say something stupid in there. You know what I mean? Or make yourself look like you don't know how to write just because you were doing it quickly or on your phone or something like that. So there's free plans for that one as well. So those are maybe just like a few basic tools that you can use, regularly that don't have to go too in depth, but can help with specific things.
That's great.
Yeah. Like I said, if we want to get more info, we can, or if we want to talk more about this, I'm sure there's other trainings available too, or we can put stuff together if you guys want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Monica. That was very enlightening, and I think it needed to be said. A lot of times, we all get very busy, and using these tools is great sometimes, but I think it's a good reminder to slow down and make sure that what you're putting out there is truly what you meant to put out there. And just taking a moment to read everything and make sure that there's no hallucinations or any false info in what you put together. So thank you so much. And on the point of the policies, I'm in the process of creating those policies, and we'll talk about those on a later date. But just be expecting to see that in your email, and then we can go over it after. But yeah. All right.
Do you guys have any questions or comments about using AI? Anything you want to talk about there?
No
We're all
question.
good. All right then.
For me,
Nope.
Mhm. Oh, I think Adam has his hand up.
Good.
How do I look myself up online?
Okay, so
Oh,
if you just open up Google, right? You open up a browser, whether you're using Google or Safari on your phone or whatever. I say use Google because the majority of people do. So you want to do what they're doing. And put your name in there. Maybe add the word realtor or real estate agent. Do it both ways. Do it with just your name. Do it all those ways. And then see what comes up. Ideally, your Google business page comes up. And then maybe some other links, maybe to the California Curb Appeal website or to realtor.com or wherever you have a profile set up. Maybe it's your Facebook page. Maybe it's your Instagram page. You want to see what are people seeing when they search you. And you want to make sure that nothing is bad there, or that nothing looks weird, or that nothing takes them to some other weird link or whatever. Just double check that.
Make sure the phone number matches, like that it's your phone number.
Yes. And remember this one too, for online profiles when you're setting them up, and this is always like more of a, here's how you do your online marketing. Ideally, for your online setups, for any profile that you set up on any website, try to use the same name, the same phone number, the same address, the same link to your socials, use the same thing everywhere. Don't put it one way this here, one way here. It will allow you to pop up faster and be shown more when it can compile that together.
that's good info. Yeah. All right. Well, we're about out of time. So thank you all for attending. I'll be sending out the replay of this training, and thank you all. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
yeah, Monica.
Yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.